What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bourbon and Bets. I'm your host, Zach Stonerock, and joining me, I got my co-host, the esteemed Avery Cunningham. Avery, welcome back to the show.
Hey Zach, thanks for having me back. It's good to be back recording with you. It's been a little while. You want to tell the people why you've been avoiding the show, avoiding recording?
I don't know what you're alluding to. The real reasons are, and I shared it on the Instagram. We had my wife's birthday, so we spent that weekend celebrating her. And then this past weekend, we were moving across from one side of Columbus to the other side of Columbus. So the move didn't go quite as smooth as what we hoped. So the setup and everything, we didn't get internet. Not going to throw any companies under the bus, but you would think that if I were to call and say like, hey, here's my new address, and they told me that service was active, that, you know, when they sent me my self-install kit, that when I plugged it in, it would have had no issues, but spent about an hour trying to get that figured out just for me to actually get a hold of a real person and then tell me that there was no active lines coming into our place. So that was a little frustrating, but the hope was that I could have got an episode out last week, but due to that roadblock, here we are. You know, we had to take a little 2-week hiatus, but we're back. I don't know if you were alluding to the fact that you were crushing me in the top 5 picks each week. I'm currently sitting at 2-8, and you're sitting at 5-5, so there's not a huge gap. I'm feeling real confident about my picks this week, so hoping to make up some ground.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because week 2, the last time we recorded, we had 3 contrarian picks. I was 3-0, and which makes you 0-3. So
I was 0-5. So
I'm talking about just for our contrarian picks. You know, for like the picks that I thought, and then picks that you thought were completely contrary. I was right in all 3 of those. You were wrong on all 3 of those. So if you could you see that right there? See that?
I like it. I'm not going to read it.
Can you just read it?
I'm not going to read it.
Okay, fine.
I'm not. For the people watching on YouTube, they will get to see what that said. But anyone that's just listening to the podcast, they're just going to be left in the dark.
Fair enough. But it said you were right and I was wrong. So
hey, thank you for saying that, Avery.
That's what the note
said. That is what the note said that you wrote to me. I appreciate that. So I do have a question. Are you an actual Yankees fan, or are you just riding the wagon of Aaron Judge right now?
Well, it is, actually I was getting ready to wear another hoodie, but it had like some stains on it. So I had to, make a quick fix. But it is baseball, baseball playoffs are coming up. And this was actually created by, an artist. So I just bought it at a flea market or something like that.
It actually looks like there's some bleach stains on there.
Yeah, some bleach stains. It got the Yankees, got, Aaron Judge's numbers on it with the Yankees patch on it. And then you can see I don't know if you can see Aaron Judge.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, big Aaron Judge fan right now. Huh?
Yeah, big Aaron Judge fan right now. 62 home runs, new AL record. Congrats to him. So, but, I really just wore it just because it's, baseball playoffs. Like you're wearing your Mavericks hoodie. Is it because you're giving up on your Panthers?
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% accurate. I do want to revisit the Aaron Judge thing, though. I understand, like, what did he end up with, 62? Is that what he finished with?
Yeah, I think that's what he finished with. I don't know if he had any more home runs after that. So he at least had 62.
So 62, are we all just going to forget about Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, and just because they happen to be NL? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, those people's history are erased, because they cheated, right? So,
is it really cheating if the whole league's doing it?
I don't think so.
It sounds to me like we're just leveling the playing field.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. But that's they say it's a new record. So, but 62 home runs, record or no record, is a lot of home runs.
Nothing to sneeze at, right? Like that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I know he had a little contract situation. He bet on himself, and he looks like he's going to be making a whole lot more money, coming up next year. So good for Aaron Judge. Congrats to him. I wish my Reds was in the playoffs, but they're not. So,
I don't know if the Reds will ever make it back to the playoffs.
I mean, you would think they would. I mean, they've been trying to do like the whole Houston Astros thing, trading, getting rid of
Cheating?
their.
Have they tried cheating?
No. What I mean, I forgot about that. What I mean was that they've been, trading a lot of their good players, accumulating a lot of picks, but it just hasn't came to fruition yet. They've been stinking for a couple years now. So I'm not sure when it's going to eventually turn around, but maybe one day. The Bengals made the Super Bowl, so maybe I could see the Reds, um, bring back that success they had, like what it seems like 100 years ago.
I I think I saw something on. I'm not a baseball fan, so I don't follow it too often. I just get little updates on my phone every now and then. Did the Reds lose over 100 games?
They lost over 100 games. Yep.
That's impressive. I mean, that's almost as
That
impressive as Aaron
that
Judge
is
hitting 62 home runs.
that is as much as impressive as that is. First game of the year they did beat the Braves. So I mean, I'll take
That
that.
was a long time ago.
It was in April, but I
Literally
mean,
a whole season ago, basically at this point. So
yeah, almost. I guess the postseason is a whole new season, right? So, but
you get it.
yeah, totally.
Um, anyway, before we jump into the Sunday slate of games and making our picks there, can we talk about Thursday night football?
Do we
I'm
have to?
starting. We have to. Yes, we have to.
Okay.
I'm starting to question. I'm starting to question whether I know anything about football at all because it just seems like, first of all, this season's been weird, right? Like we're not seeing. I mean, we're seeing the usual suspects when we're looking at like the Chiefs are doing really well. Ravens are playing well. But then, I mean, like the Eagles, the only undefeated team in the league right now. Russell Wilson, former league MVP, not playing very well. The Colts not playing great. The Falcons are actually not looking terrible. The Jags are looking really good right now. But like looking back at this Thursday night game, I mean, Russell Wilson's just not looking good at all. I mean, there was a lot of granted. I mean, I'm an armchair quarterback, right? Like I'm watching the game. I got a much better viewing angle than what he does from there in the backfield. But there's wide open receivers that he's missing. There was a route that Jerry Jeudy ran, I believe, where he tried to throw it over the top, and that allowed the safety to get back in. Where it, in my opinion, I mean, it looked like underneath, if you would have just threw the ball short and had Jeudy come back to it, could have been a completion. Missed him again. I don't know if it was Jeudy or Sutton. I can't recall, but in the front left corner of the end zone, just didn't give him enough time to get under the ball. Russ is not looking great. What's your take there? And then also, what's your take on the Colts right now? I mean, Matt Ryan, there was a lot of excitement surrounding him coming in, especially with your guy Carson Wentz headed out. Starting to look like maybe Carson Wentz wasn't a problem.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting to hear you say that.
He's still not a good quarterback. Like I'm not praising him, but I'm just saying it was not all on him at this point.
It's not, but the reason he got cut was because the last game, the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got to find a way to win that game. Like when everything's going wrong, you want the quarterback to be the eraser. Eventually, fortunately, he didn't do that. He wasn't like everybody was bad that game. He was bad. He was bad that game. So that's what really got him shipped out. 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions is no season to scoff at. Matt Ryan has 11 fumbles this year, which leads the NFL by a mile. He has, I think, maybe 5 interceptions. Offensive line is pretty leaky right now. They've been banged up by injuries. Shaquille Leonard has been out for, I think they only played like one game. He even finished that game. It's been a lot of injuries. Like the pass rush. The pass blocking unit hasn't really been all that great. They're more of a run blocking O-line unit as opposed to pass blocking. The Colts are just the coach is just a struggle. It was never really Carson Wentz's problem. So I'll leave it at that. So I just can't wait till when the Colts play the Commanders and the Commanders beat them. Okay, so now I got that off my chest. Back to the Broncos. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Russell Wilson, I mean, doesn't really look great. Doesn't really look good at all. Um, he's been inaccurate. He hasn't really been. I mean, it feel like it's just kind of just throwing games. I know Calvin Ridley, got suspended, for betting on games, but somebody needs to, really investigate Nathaniel Hackett.
Don't do it, man.
All these,
Don't make that accusation.
no, I mean, obviously I'm being facetious, but you see the, they were up 9-6. You're going in, you got the ball, you converted on 4th and 2. I mean, you got the balls, 2 minutes or so in the game. All you got to do is run the ball or kick a field goal or, just, be more conservative, but throw a pass to a former defensive player of the year in Stephon Gilmore. He ends up making a play. Matt Ryan, being the veteran that he is, drives his team down. They kick a field goal down in overtime. The game should never went to overtime. So I was just Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson. This combination hasn't really worked. I mean, I can see it getting better just because Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. I feel like he's going to be more accurate. Still like he's going to start making better decisions. I mean, it's just a matter of time. But I really don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's just mine somewhere else. I really can't explain what's really going on down in Denver. Like a lot of unlucky stuff too. Like fumbles on the red zone. The red zone has just been atrocious for them. So they're not. I mean, unless they've fix the red zone woes, they're not going to really win a lot of games, which is a shame because they got a championship caliber defense.
Yeah, I mean, in two things from what you just said. Do you think it's too late for the Broncos to turn it around? I mean, we're only in week 5, and I know there's going to take some time to build some chemistry, but it's not like Russ was traded in late. I can make kind of an argument for like Baker because he was kind of put into a rough situation being traded late. His coach is trash, was put into a fake quarterback competition with Sam Darnold, but Russ came in, he was the guy, had time to build that chemistry. That chemistry should be built early in the offseason. We shouldn't be coming into week 5 or wrapping up week 5 for them, with them playing Thursday and questioning whether, this chemistry is going to be found or not. I feel like with a guy of Russ's caliber and the talent that he has at the receiver position, I feel like we should have been there by now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just been more so just him being inaccurate. I'm not sure about like the play call. I thought the 4th and 1 call. I mean, do I agree with it? Maybe. But it was a good play call. You got to open like they had man to man. KJ Hamler, executed on the pick. He got his guy picked off. He was open. He just
wide open.
I mean, but he had his eyes fixated on Cortland Sutton. Obviously, that's your best receiver. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't think Russell Wilson is a confident quarterback right now. So I mean, you just got to go back to work. Russell's a hard worker. You just got to go back in the lab. He's got 10 days. 11 days because Monday night we're going to see Denver and the Chargers, which I'm sick of seeing Denver on primetime TV right now.
I think the thought was that they were going to be a much better, more exciting team to watch, and they have just been
they
trash.
They've completely stunk. Like it's been straight garbage. I'm sick of watching them on TV. But hopefully for the viewers' sake that they figure this out. I do believe in Russ, like Russell Wilson can still be that quarterback that he was in Seattle. I mean, he still got the arm strength. I mean, you just got to work on you just got to fix the accuracy issues, just his confidence. So those are two big tasks to fix, during the season. So I don't know. I still see them, being better than they are. But and then their defense, has some injuries too. He just lost his left tackle, I think, or right left tackle Garrett Bowles. I mean, he's been a mainstay on that line for a couple of years. Has Ronald Darby just got hurt. So there's just, I mean, just with this defense they have the capabilities to win games. They just got to be better on offense.
Yeah, I don't know. I I really like Russ. I hope they figure it out, but right now it's not looking good. But no reason to beat a dead horse. Let's go ahead and move on
Was
to.
that was that was that a pun? Was pun intended?
Uh, we're gonna say no pun intended, but I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a high five on the flawless execution
Yeah,
there.
that was pretty clever. That was pretty clever.
Let's go ahead and jump into to Sunday's games. So we're recording Saturday morning, so these will be for tomorrow. Let's go back and forth. Let's give our top 5 picks. I'm gonna let you go ahead and kick things off here.
Oh, okay. So I go first. All right. Okay. So one pick that I'm going with this week is the Eagles minus 5.5 over the Arizona Cardinals. Since the Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury experience, the Arizona Cardinals are 9-17 at home against the spread. So, and that's like one of
It's
the
you,
worst.
man. I've never heard you give anything against the spread.
Oh, hey, man. Trying to get better. Trying to get better.
I like it.
But yeah, they and at their last 7, they are 0-7. They are 0 for 7 in their last 7 home games against the spread. And you got the Eagles team coming in town who's hot, who can beat you in many different ways. So there's no need to overthink this. Eagles is a better team anyway. So I'm going with the Eagles here minus 5.5.
That's actually one of my picks too. I'm going to agree with you on that. I didn't know about the against the spread record for the Cardinals, but looking at the Eagles, I mean, the last undefeated team left in the league. There are some challenges going on in Arizona right now. Like you said, Cliff and Kyler, seems like that experiment's not really playing out exactly how Arizona had planned. Looking forward to seeing like what that looks like throughout the rest of the year and then moving forward. But I think Sirianni has the Eagles in a good spot. Seems like that team's fully bought in to some of his thought processes and the mentality that he wants the team to come with. Jalen Hurts is playing extremely well. That was one thing I saw Sirianni on the Pat McAfee show actually, and he was talking about Jalen Hurts and how he's the same guy. You know, he doesn't ride the waves. You know, when things are good, he's not up. When things are bad, he's not down. He's pretty much level the whole time, and I think that's really key to the Eagles' success. That defense is also playing, you know, extremely well. I'm very confident in the Eagles. Not as confident in the Cardinals. It just seems like the Cardinals, you know, with the offseason Kyler contract and then stating that he had to limit like his video game time and different things. As soon as that came out, I was like, there's some things going on in Arizona that are not good. So I'm with you. I'm going to go with the Eagles minus 5.5 as well here.
Hey man, let's roll with it.
Let's roll. I am going to need some contrarian picks here because I need to make up some ground. So my next pick is I'm going to look at the Vikings versus the Bears. So this one's in Minnesota. Vikings are favored by 7.5, and I swore I would never put my trust in Kirk Cousins again. I just feel like the Bears are down bad. Kurt in Minnesota, US Bank Stadium. I think he's going to come out. I think Justin Jefferson's going to have a big game. Dalvin Cook's going to get things rolling here. I think Justin Fields is going to continue to struggle. It's really unfortunate for him. Very, very talented quarterback, but I just think the Vikings have too much firepower in this game. I see the Vikings pulling this game off by about 9 or 10 points.
I know you had to hear this, but I'm actually have the same pick here. I do apologize here, but yeah, I usually don't like doing division matches, but unless I'm like highly convicted. So this is one of those times. The Bears have struggled offensively, defensively. They'll be without Jalen Johnson in that corner, so could be another big game for Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Kirk Cousins, or Kinfolk Kirk, as Shannon Sharp likes to call him, could be a potential QB1 this week. And also Dalvin Cook. I know he's been having a little tough season. He can have a big week this week as well. So I'm rolling with the Vikings here with you.
Okay. Well, it's back in your court. Who we got next?
All right. So my next pick, I'm rolling with the San Francisco 49ers, -6.5 against the Carolina Panthers. I know it's a away game for San Francisco on a short week. I got to go all the way across to Carolina, but you have the number one scoring defense against the last. I don't know if they're last in scoring offense, but you got the one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league right now in Baker Mayfield.
That's a factual statement.
This doesn't have to be hard. So I don't really think there's any explanation needs to be made. I think the San Francisco 49ers are the tougher team as well, if that means anything. But so I'm going with the 49ers here to cover.
I didn't take this game obviously just because of my fanhood towards the Panthers. I wanted to take San Francisco -6.5, but just didn't want to be excited that my team pulls off an upset if it happens, and then look at a parlay and be like, I lost because of that too. So I stayed away from it. I think Jimmy G's playing well. That defensive line is going to be all over Baker. He's going to be under pressure all day. I expect him to go down a lot.
And a lot of tip passes.
I do believe this game is going to be ugly. It's, even with the injuries at running back for the Niners, I think Jeff Wilson's going to have a good game back there. Christian McCaffrey's been struggling to get going, and it's a direct result of the rest of the offense not going. So, he's been playing well, but when you think about Christian McCaffrey before his injuries, we're not there, and I think the offense isn't rolling as well as what it could with the young talent that is there. I do believe Matt Rule's days are numbered. I don't see him making it past week 8 if he makes it that long.
When's their bye?
Their bye, I want to say it's later in the season.
Okay.
I
don't know. Yeah, he might be gone by then. It just depends on how the team performs. But
you think there's a chance they'll hold off till the bye? Let's see when that is.
And I don't think their schedule gets any easier, from the 49ers. So,
yeah, give me a second here. I was looking in the wrong spot. Week 13. So yeah, it's later in the season.
Okay, yeah, that's a rather long time. So
yeah, they're not going to keep him around that long.
Yeah, and it's just been frustrating to watch them. As a DJ Moore fantasy owner, it's been frustrating. He's had 11 targets last week, and he only had six catches for 50 yards. I don't know. This is, I drafted him over guys like Mike Williams. With me, you gotta love the highs with Mike Williams as much as you love the lows, because with Mike Williams you can get 7 catches, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Next week you get a complete Tony Snell game, 0-0-0. So yeah, it's frustrating. I should have just rolled with the lows with Mike Williams, but no. This offense is not good. I low key wish that Matt Corral wouldn't have got hurt. I would like to see him be able to play and see what he can do. I think when Sam Darnold gets back, is going to be a conversation on who's going to be starting moving forward. PJ Walker, along with Cooper Rush, is the only 2 active QBs that haven't lost starting when they were starting the game yet. So PJ Walker is 2-0. Cooper Rush is 4-0. So maybe it can be time for PJ Walker time, but No. So yeah, it's just frustrating. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement, even though I didn't take this pick, but I am in agreement. San Francisco -6.5, probably a very solid pick. I'm going to stay away from it in every aspect of gambling today, just again because of my fanhood. But I'm on board with you there. But since you just talked about it, my next pick is, we're going to circle back around to Mike Williams. We got the Chargers at the Browns. Chargers are favored by 2.5. I'm going to roll with the Chargers here. I just think I think this is going to be a really good game, but at 2.5 points, I think this game will probably be decided by a field goal, just because the Browns have a really strong running attack, but even with Keenan Allen out again this week, I like the Chargers' offensive weapons. As you mentioned, if Mike Williams has one of those high games, it's going to be really good for the Chargers. But then you still got Austin Eckler, and Gerald Everett is there too, and he's been playing well. So as well as that defense for the Chargers, Jacoby Brissett. Man, words are hard for me right now. Jacoby Brissett, I think he's gonna be under some pressure today. They are gonna have to lean on the running game pretty heavily. I think if it gets into a back and forth matchup here, I think the Chargers have more scoring ability. So I think the Chargers win this game, despite the fact that it is in Cleveland. So yeah, I'm taking the Chargers -2.5.
Well, you'll be happy to hear this. I'm actually going with Cleveland +2.5.
Okay.
With with the Chargers, they are a rather inconsistent team. I may be wrong on this, but I want to say their record after wins is like, I want to say in some amount of time, it's like they're like 3-7 straight up after a win or
How
something
many of
like
those
that.
games were they favored in?
I can't, I don't remember.
Okay.
I seen the stat. I was like, well, that makes sense. And then while the Cleveland Browns, like, for matter, for a certain amount of time, they were 9-0 straight up, after some losses. Also, this Chargers rushing defense is, I think they're giving up 126 yards a game. Cleveland Browns have one of the better rushing attacks in the NFL, as well as Nick Chubb, who is probably, one of, maybe number two, I think, behind, Saquon Barkley, and when it comes to fantasy running backs. So yeah, with those things, Chargers being inconsistent, having to be playing the dog pound. I'm going with the Browns +2.5.
Yeah, so you're right. Nick Chubb is number two in yards behind Saquon Barkley. Don't want to pivot too far away from this game, but I'm excited to see Saquon back and crushing it after all the injuries he's had to overcome. That game's not on my list of games that I picked, but wanted to make sure I called that out. The dude's back playing extremely well. I'm glad to see that. But to circle back around, I do think this is going to be a tight game. I think it is going to be decided by a field goal. So while I do agree the Chargers are wildly inconsistent, I do see them coming out on top here in a very tight football game. So I'm glad we do have at least one contrarian pick that we're working through here. I believe we are on your last game, so let's hear it.
All right, so I am going the over in the Titans and Commanders game. Maybe it's just you know, uh, being on the Carson Wentz train. I don't know. But I just think like 42 and a half. I think it was 42 over the 42 and a half. I mean, that's not really a whole lot of points for two defenses. That's been struggling. I know both offenses have been having their troubles as well. But the corner situation in Tennessee, hasn't really been all that great. So I can look for a big game out of Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz being Carson Wentz, you can, maybe defensive touchdown. I don't know. The Nico Autry, Jeffrey Simmons for Tennessee, they've been playing really well. I know the Commanders are on like some of their backups on the interior O line right now, so that could be so maybe a scoop and score. Maybe could see that. Outside of that, I expect both offenses to kind of put up more points than they're projected. On Tennessee side, Northern missing like the wide receiver room's been putrid like this whole year. Now that Treylon Burks is out, I can see Robert Woods having a big game. Derrick Henry is on pace for 51 targets this year, so they're really trying to get him more involved. So I can see him having a solid game as well. So I'm going with the over here for the Commanders and Titans game. And as you can hear from baby girl Amari, she doesn't really like those picks.
Yeah, I I stayed away from this game. Um, I'm pretty sure the spread in that was pretty close. I want to say it was like a 2.5 3-point spread.
Yeah, it's Tennessee plus or minus 2.5.
Oh, minus 1.5 now.
Oh,
So
they changed it.
yeah, Tennessee minus 1.5. So
Last I checked, it was 2.5.
that game's a coin flip to me about who's going to actually come out on top because, as you mentioned, it depends on how Carson Wentz does play. I do like that over pick though. I didn't take it, but 42.5 seems pretty low for a guy like Carson who's either going to put up a lot of points or give up a lot of points. Pick six or scoop and score, or who knows, break both his ankles and fumble the ball off back of the end zone or something. So I'm glad to hear that we at least have a couple, actually three different picks, one contrarian. I guess I got two more picks. I guess I probably should have went first here, but I also have an over. I have the over in the Dolphins Jets game, 45.5. Even with Tua out and Teddy Bridgewater getting the start, that offense has a lot of weapons there. With Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I'm really glad to see like Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert are kind of getting things going in that backfield. Chase Edmonds just had a 2-touchdown game as he was sitting on my bench. So that one really hurt. But Zach Wilson being back also, Zach Wilson looked pretty good in his first game back last week. So I'm thinking that we're going to see some points here. So 45.5 is in my opinion, a little bit low. If this total was probably closer to like, I don't know, 48.5, 49, I'd probably lean under, but I do think 45.5 is definitely obtainable. And then my last game is Jags versus the Texans down in Jacksonville. I'm taking the Jags -7. I think that Trevor Lawrence is looking really good. Robinson's getting a lot of action back there. Last year with all the issues that they had down in Jacksonville, it was questionable about how good Trevor Lawrence was going to be, but now that he has Doug Peterson down there with him, things seem to be clicking a little bit better. So the Texans, while they're not a horrible team, they always seem to stay in the game. I just think Jacksonville has a little bit too much offensive power to not win this game by at least 7.
Okay. I can see the Dolphins and Jets going over there. With how the Jets play, cover one, cover three type of team. There could be some opportunities for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, to get loose for touchdowns. The DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner has been playing really well though. So this is going to be, but the speed that these two possess, Waddle and Hill, it's going to be challenging for them. So I can definitely see, and like Zach Wilson played well in the second half of that Pittsburgh and Jets game. He's got some weapons. I wish he can use Elijah Moore a little bit more. Corey Davis, he's been solid. Garrett Wilson splashed a little bit too. So, but he's going to have to, navigate that blitz because Miami's going to bring a lot of blitzing. So he's going to have to, with new pieces, coming in on their O line, he's going to have to navigate that. So he's going to have to get rid of the ball quick. I definitely could see the over. If he is accurate and he's decisive, he makes good decisions. For the Jags and Texas game, I do like the money line better. I like the Jags money line better than the spread just because I think that the Jaguars at home are better than the Texans today. However, the Texans are 4-0 in the last 2 years against the Jaguars, while they're like 4-25 against everybody else. So I do like the Jaguars. I'll feel more comfortable with the money line aspect. But I do see James Robinson also having a good game with Texas rushing defenses and all that spectacular right now. So Derek Stingley's been playing good though. Number 3 pick. He has been hurt, or also I don't know if he's going to play this weekend. So, but I see Christian Kirk also having a good game, and Trevor Lawrence. Those guys getting the win. But I do like I can see the -7 Jags as well because Davis Mills is just not as good as a quarterback on the road as he is at home. So I like the pick. I'll probably lean just the money line, just because the bigger spread and just the success that the Texas has had over the Jaguars these last couple of years.
Looking at the success over the past couple of years, if we look at the Jaguars programs, and obviously we had the Urban Meyer experiment that happened down there. Are you factoring that in?
I guess I could have, but I didn't. It's just, teams going and franchises going against franchises. So I didn't really factor that in. So that is a good point. However, Urban Meyer also beat Sean McDermott and Josh Allen. So you just never know.
Never know. Would you? So I know you said that you would be more comfortable with the money line, which is a soft way out. So I'm not gonna ride you too hard about that one. But would you be more comfortable taking Houston +7? Is that what you're saying?
If I had to do that, I would. But actually, I don't think so. Like if it really came down to it, my three choices in order: Jaguars money line, Jaguars -7, Houston +7.
Okay, I can respect that. The last game I want to talk about, it's not a game in my list or anything like that. Actually, before I move on to that, if I were to parlay all 5 of these picks, so my guy that places the big boy parlays for us each week, he is actually not able to do it this weekend, so we're not going to be placing that pick. I'm hoping to utilize a few different avenues to get some of these parlays in. But with my 5 picks, so the Vikings -7, Jags -7, Dolphins Jets over 45.5, Chargers -2.5, and Eagles -5.5. If you parlay all 5 of those, it has a plus 2,575 payout. So pretty good odds there. Feel fairly confident in my picks with the truthfully, the only one that I am a little hesitant on would be the Chargers, just because of the things we talked about. But I still feel like the Chargers should be able to cover that. So if you bet 100, could win 2,000. We're just going to call it 2,500. So not a bad payout for a 5-game parlay there. Avery, I didn't run the numbers on yours, but I'd imagine it'd probably be very similar because the odds are probably pretty close there. So I'm excited to see how those play out. Last game I wanted to talk about, and it's what I feel is probably the most interesting matchup of the week. That's the Rams versus the Cowboys. So the Rams are struggling a little bit. They're 2-2, and their 2 losses, they've looked less than great. But then you got the Cowboys, who Dak went out, and they're 3-1. 3-0 with Cooper Rush, correct?
Don't act like you don't know the man's name, okay, Zach? This is ridiculous. The man is 3-0. You act like you got to, confirm what his name is. This is ridiculous, Zach.
I know his name. I'm just.
And you know what school he went to. None of us are surprised, by the way. None of us are surprised. None of us that play.
No one in Chippewa Nation is surprised, right?
Correct. Nobody's surprised.
The rest of the world is mind blown. Exactly.
Because He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not athletic. So, people just write you off. But, you got to have more than that to be a great quarterback.
Yeah. It takes the mental aspect too. And that's what you learn at Central Michigan.
And Cooper Rush, one of the smartest people that I know. Anybody that has a 4.0 in the actuarial science major is very smart. If you don't know what actuarial science is, look it up.
I don't know what it is. I already feel like I'm not.
Of math and stats classes, Zach.
Oh, I'm great at math and stats. If I would have known there was a whole major for that, I probably would have done much better.
Well, I mean, you got to actually go to college, So Brandy said, "Ouch!" Like,
yeah,
he's a very successful man. So it's he went Steve Jobs route. So
that's right. I don't need college.
No,
for all the kids out there listening, if you want to go to college, but not necessary to be successful in life.
Exactly, which Zach is. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate you backtracking a little bit since
no, it wasn't. I wasn't. It wasn't an insult.
I did not take it as one.
Okay. So,
anyway,
here I apologize.
No need to apologize, sir. I am very vocal that college was not for me. So, however, I did go to Ohio State Newark for a year. So they're not even the Buckeyes. They are the OSU Newark Titans. So nice. Go Titans.
Here we go.
They have a football team too. So maybe I'll go back and get my 4 years of play in.
Let's go. But yeah, this whole, it's math and stats and actuarial sciences. So,
actuarial sciences. Maybe that's what my major will be in. So me and Cooper Rush can sit down and talk actuarial sciences.
Yeah, discuss calculus.
Hated calculus, not for me.
That was one of the few classes you had to take, man. So as along with economic classes, accounting classes, business law. It was a very, very wide spectrum of classes we had to take. So I learned business law by doing. I was like, that's illegal. I probably shouldn't do that. Probably should do it, yeah. Or may have had a ding, or the triple B's, come knocking at your door. It's like, I probably shouldn't do that. So.
Probably should not invest in Big Baller Brand.
Well, I was talking about the Better Business Bureau, but whatever is that.
I had to just loop that in there for you.
Brandy is snapping Brandy is like did the little poetry snap when you said that. This is ridiculous. This conversation is getting out of hand.
Let's reel this back.
Yeah, let's reel that.
Let's get back to talking about Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys taking on Matt Stafford and the Rams. Oh, look at this! Look at this beautiful girl.
Someone want to say hi.
Hi, Amari. Do you think the Bengals are going to beat the Ravens?
Plus 3.5. Let's go. Hammer it.
I would probably actually take that plus 3.5.
Yeah, easy.
Anyway, Amari, what do you think about the Cowboys and the Rams? Rams minus 5.5. Who are you taking? She said Cooper Rush is my guy. So looks like
I got to.
Yeah. Looks like she's leaning towards the Cowboys. This is an interesting matchup though, just because you got Sean McVay, who's arguably one of the greatest football minds in the game right now, taking on the Cowboys and Cooper Rush, who is shocking the world. Rams are favored by 5.5, which I feel like with the way that the Dallas defense is playing, I feel like 5.5 points is high in this game. I understand that might be skewed just because of Cooper Rush starting at quarterback, but I was thinking, I'm okay with the Rams being favored, but I was probably expecting more of like a 3.5 number here. What do you think, Avery?
No, I agree. I just stayed away from this game just because, the one time we've seen the Rams, week 1 against the Bills on a Thursday night, that was Sean McVay's only time being below 500. So with him at the helm, it's just hard for me to just, go ahead and say that, Dallas would be, that or that the Rams will win or Dallas will win. Or, I do agree with you. The 5.5 does seem like a lot of points. I would lean towards the, Cowboys plus 5.5, but I do like, I don't know. I would choose if it wasn't Sean McVay, I would choose Dallas to win this game. Um, but it's hard, so that's why I just kind of just stayed away from it. But it should be a good game. If I had to make a pick, I would just say Rams money line.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing for me is that I think Dallas has the talent and Cooper Rush is playing well enough to beat this Rams team. Uh, However, I have a hard time taking Mike McCarthy over Sean McVay.
Yeah, hey, both of them won the Super Bowl, Zach.
Yeah, but McCarthy's Super Bowls were about over a decade ago. So
a decade plus ago.
Yeah,
understandable. But I mean, the Super Bowl pedigree, never leaves you. So with 3-1 with your backup quarterback, I mean, there's nothing to scoff at when it comes to McCarthy. So
yeah,
but
that was just I
I'm not surprised. None of us are surprised. So
yeah. What is your input there? I think that's the most interesting game of the week. But looking forward to seeing how this plays out. I'm glad to see that there's 3 options for me to gain some ground here. I really need to go 3-0 in those games to get back. And unfortunately, if I do go 3-0 in those, I still need for the other 2 to hit for parlay purposes. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to catch you this week, but hopefully I can definitely make up some ground. Appreciate you jumping on. Is there anything else you want to hit on before we wrap things up?
I wanted your what about one of the other games I was thinking about, and I kind of just changed my mind here at the last minute. So I was kind of like, to be honest with you, I was kind of just scrambling this episode because was New England against the Lions. I want to take New England. I'll take money line or plus the 3.5 they are. I think 3.5 they are.
Yeah. I think they're actually favored by 3.5, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yeah. Minus 3.5. What's your take on that game? I think with Jared Goff, he struggled. I mean, I can't unsee what happens when a Bill Belichick disciple in Brian Flores whenever they play against a Jared Goff led team that it's just a win for the other team. So, but with the New England's quarterback situation, it could be on their third string quarterback. Bailey Zappi, played admirably last week against the Packers. I think he only had had the fumble loss and he didn't really turn the ball over outside of that. Not the strongest arm out there. So what's your take on that game?
Yeah, and I actually just looked. The line has moved a little bit. It's now just -3. This one's a tough one for me because the Lions keep lioning. I mean, they are up. They're up games. They make comebacks in games, but they just never seem to be able to close these games out. I don't hate the Lions. I actually was kind of on the fence about going Lions money line, and then I had to look myself in the mirror and I was like, don't bet on the Lions. And just because of it's the Lions, and I really like Dan Campbell, but we're talking Bill Belichick here, and the biggest thing with the Patriots is I don't necessarily think it matters who's under center, because Belichick's going to come up with a game plan to highlight that person's strengths, right? And not to mention, like, they have a pretty solid ground game, so that I think they're gonna be able to run the ball okay. I don't know. My gut tells me to go Lions here, and I would actually probably go Lions money line if I were. I'm staying far away from this game because, again, it's the Lions, but I don't know, with Zappi being the starting quarterback, I feel like seeing him last week and that gave Bill a little bit more like insight into kind of what he can do in game situations. I don't know though. I mean, this would be a game that would be, in my opinion, too close to call. I guess looking at the total of this one, 45.5, I would lean towards the under.
Yeah, I like the under better than Only reason I would like the over is just in case Jared Goff throws a pick six,
Yeah.
which he did last week against the Seahawks, which is not as good as a defense as the Patriots.
Are the Lions the number one scoring offense in the league?
They might be.
Let me check real quick because they're putting up points.
Yeah, so they put up 35 week 1, 36 week 2, 24 week 3, and then last week they put up 45.
Yeah, they're actually number one in yards per game and number one in points. Yeah. So they're averaging 35 points a game. So I don't know. That makes it tough to stick with the over or the under on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I want to say that Jared Goff was 1-9 against AFC East opponents. And they, against on the road, he's not as good on the road as he is at home. And, playing in Dome is a lot different than playing at Foxborough. So
right,
those are things like if I had to pick one, like I lean New England here, but not for like top 5 picks of the week that I'm most convicted in, but it was up there. If Hoyer would have played, maybe more confident in the pick. But I think we'll see if Bailey Zappi is capable. He like I said, he went 10 to 15 last week. He's the first rookie to throw a touchdown pass this year. Not Kenny Pickett, but it was Bailey Zappi, which everybody predicted. So,
well, Pickett also rushed in 2 touchdowns, so we got to give him his credit.
Yeah,
but he threw 3 interceptions.
And all of his passes were completions.
That's true. That ball never touched the ground when it left.
Very catchable ball.
Yeah. So I'm with you. That game was very appealing to me, and like it was almost just like I wanted to take it just because of like the excitement of the game. But then it's also like I don't know. I don't think either one of those teams are going to be playoff teams this year. I don't think the Patriots are going to make it. I don't think the Lions are going to make it. But I did think about including the Lions in a underdog parlay that I was kind of trying to formulate and concoct in my head. I was actually leaning towards taking the Lions, the Dolphins, not the Dolphins. I'm sorry, the Jets against the Dolphins. Just again, Teddy Bridgewater's not there.
Tua's not there. Teddy.
Yeah, Tua's not there. Teddy's starting. Appreciate that.
Is that much of a difference, really? Maybe with accuracy, maybe. But I mean, arm strength. Is it? I don't know. But maybe Tua has somewhat of a stronger arm. Maybe not as much. But I will say
that it's tough because I mean, from a talent perspective, I think you're right that there's not a huge difference. I just think that the what am I trying to say? The swagger of the team is a little bit better, I guess, with Tua. It seems like they have a little more confidence and I feel like the team had really bought into Tua this year. So I think that with him being out, like Teddy's not a bad quarterback. I enjoyed Teddy being in Carolina. I kind of wish we would have just stuck with him instead of paying Sam and then paying Baker. And
I think, right now, I think every team that's got rid of Teddy Bridgewater these last 3 or 4 years wish they would have kept him.
Yeah, I mean, before he got hurt in Minnesota, like he was a good quarterback. So I'm not sure that I'm with you. I don't know if there's a huge talent drop off. I think it is just more so that the team seems to have more swagger when Tua's under center. So
you're telling me that a team that's quarterback from Hawaii, has more swagger than a team that's quarterbacked by someone from Florida?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
I said it.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
All the Southern listeners, he said that. Zach Stonerock said that. I didn't say that. So I apologize for what Zach just said. So for you guys.
Avery, I don't think they're listening to us right now. I think they're just trying to get their livelihoods back, man.
Yeah. I mean that too. But
hey, thoughts and prayers for the people down in Florida who were impacted by Ian, and everyone up the coast who were impacted. So
absolutely.
Yeah. But yep, Tua's got more swagger. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. Interesting.
There we go.
Interesting.
Anyway, that's gonna wrap things up here. Avery, I appreciate you joining the show again. It was, it felt good to be back. Yeah, you got one more?
One more thing. Washington State plus 12.5 over USC.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk to you about that.
Let's go.
What's your guy's name?
Cameron Ward.
Cameron Ward. He's been playing well, man.
Yeah.
They're definitely not gonna beat USC. But he has been super impressive. Let me see here.
Is that USC?
Yeah, but I just wanted to see. Please hold. 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's playing extremely well.
Yeah, it's one interception.
1 interception.
No, I think.
No, sorry. Looking at the wrong side of the stat sheet. He has 7 interceptions.
Yeah, I was going to say like Caleb Williams maybe.
Yeah, it was Caleb Williams I was looking at.
Yeah, no, he's kind of Wisconsin was a tough match. I think he had 2 picks that game. I think he threw that unlucky one against Oregon that pick 6 to kind of decide that Oregon game.
Yeah.
But then he came back. He pulled his team within that 3 points to cover. So it had this plus 6.5 in that game. So yeah, he's Washington State's defense was pretty. Outside the Oregon game, it has been pretty solid. So I think it would be a better game than what the experts are thinking. However, USC does lead the country in turnover margin, so he's gonna have to make some good decisions, for them to win this for them to win this game. But I'm not picking them to win this game. I'm picking the plus 12.5. Let's go.
I want to go against you, but we saw what happened in that Oregon game, so I can't. But I do think so. I have USC winning the Pac-12. I think USC could be a sneaky play for national championship.
It could happen. Like with Lincoln Riley, that offense, they're rolling right now.
Yeah.
They kind of struggled. They was in the struggle bus at Oregon State. So they got out of that game. So that game said a lot about who they are as a team. They could. They run the table. They could very well be in that national championship conversation.
They do have a tough schedule remaining though. After this week, they go to Utah, and Utah Cam Rising is a dog.
That's going to be the game. Utah should be undefeated.
Yeah, Utah is a very solid team, and then they also still got to play UCLA, who's also 5-0. They played them second to last game of the season, so I don't know if they'll remain 5-0, but very solid team. And then you got Notre Dame, last game of the season. Notre Dame's not who we thought they were, but they're slowly putting it together. Marcus Freeman's getting this team in line.
Yeah, I'm going USC that game. But imagine in 2024, USC and UCLA could decide a Big Ten championship.
Yeah, that's insane.
What are we doing?
That won't decide the Big Ten championship, but
yeah.
Ohio State's still going to be just dominating that conference. But
well, they didn't dominate it last year, but whatever. Go off, man.
Okay, yikes. Didn't realize you were going to bring that up.
Of course,
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode today. For listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning back in. We're glad to be back. Do us a favor. If you're listening to us on a podcast platform, we're available on Apple, Google, Amazon, all the major platforms. Do us a favor though, and go watch us on YouTube. YouTube is what our goal is. We want to grow that audience. If you're on YouTube and you're like, hey, I want to be able to just listen to this in my car when I'm on the go. We are available on podcast platforms too, all the ones I just mentioned. Also check us out, Instagram, Bourbon and Bets, Facebook, Bourbon and Bets. Interact with us, engage. I put polls up just about every Saturday, every Sunday. Would love to see your input there. I also have a few T-shirts that I want to do some giveaways on. Being transparent, I only have extra large and double X left. So those are the two sizes that will be given away. But those will be available. I'm going to come up with some type of giveaway to get those out to you. But Avery, appreciate you coming back on the show, especially short notice. And coming with so much knowledge, all that knowledge that you bring every episode. So that's greatly appreciated. I am hoping that my Panthers pull it off so I can, stop acting like it's basketball season already and pull out a Panthers hoodie again.
Will be basketball season like next week or something like that.
I mean, yeah, but basketball season for me has never actually started till after football season. But it's getting real hard. It's getting real hard to not just be a Mavericks fan. But that's what I got. Avery, thanks again for joining the show. Glad to see Amari. Looking forward to gaining some ground on you on our top 5 picks.
Not happening.
We'll see. But that's it. Everyone have a great weekend. I hope it's super profitable for everyone, and we will talk to you all on the next episode.